Hi, in this video we continue the tour of Centrify User Suite, and now we're pivoting to the administrative experience. The first thing you need to know is that the Centrify User Suite service is running on top of Azure. What that means is that benefits from the multiple data centers, the ability to have individual pods. That means that if a customer doesn't want their data to be in a tenant environment, it can have their own individual pod. That means a little bit more of investment though. And that is a multi-data center, so it's multiple data centers across the world and highly available. And finally, Centrify has done a great effort in localization. So in here, I switched the language of my user. Notice that the portal is in Spanish. If I go to the, in this case, Firefox options, and I go ahead and change my language, let's just say that switches to Chinese. Let's go ahead and press OK. All I need to do is refresh, and it's going to pick up the new language. So today, I think it's supported in over 15 to 20 languages, and more are being added. Okay. So let's continue to take a look at the quick tour of the administrative experience. So it provides you with wizards in which you can enroll your devices and whatnot. But let's take a look at some of the dashboards. So the overview dashboard shows you how many users you have enrolled, how many devices, activity across the world. In this case, it's a demo environment, so it's not very climactic. You can take a look at the users that you have. In this case, limited attributes, of course. But notice that I can have what is called hybrid identity. I can have users living in Active Directory and users living in the cloud. So for example, when you saw me do Office 365, it's obviously a user in Active Directory. If when I could do, for example, other applications like Salesforce that can be for maybe a third-party person that is not necessarily my employee, I can have them live in the cloud service. The other thing has to do with apps. So today, over 2,500 apps have been provisioned, and this could be, either web or mobile apps. Notice that it's, much more robust than we saw on the user side, and it's as simple as Office. Just type in, and it's gonna basically pop in options as you go. So all the offices are gonna show up, and I could just look at the application. So notice that you have Office 365, Office 365 plus provisioning. Let's just say Salesforce. So adding applications, and we're going to be doing that a lot on the subsequent posting. So we're going to do 3 apps right away: Google Apps, Office 365, and Salesforce. Devices is a dashboard for devices, pretty much. In this case, I don't have much. Notice that one thing that I do want to show is that from an administrative perspective, administrators can't see where the device is. So, and users have the ability to disable that. So I don't know if I would have to switch the language here to show you that. So let's go ahead and quickly switch the language. This is my user view here. I'm going to go ahead and switch to English again. And notice that end users have the ability to basically activate or deactivate device location. This is important because of privacy. So they can say, hey, do not track my devices. But by default, when you look at the at the devices here, those are not available. So notice that the administrator can perform the basically those device management or other capabilities. Policies can be deployed in a mixed way. Policies can be either deployed through the cloud service and through Active Directory. So there's basically what are mobile device policies, and these are also existing in Active Directory as well. So you can have that hybrid management there. But there's policies around how security is handled in terms of authentication. You guys saw me do two-factor authentication. So this is what you would define how authentication is going to happen, right? What are the factors of authentication that are going to be used in this particular case. Application policies define how application policies apply. And this is because an application can have policies itself. So for example, I'm looking here at my Office 365, and I can have a policy that says, hey, this is intranet only, right? So, or it requires strong authentication. So very powerful when it comes to policies. Roles, this is how we control not only what people can do in the service, but what applications they can see. So in here, notice that I have an Office 365 role, and the members are pretty much tied to a group in Active Directory. So I can just edit and add from AD. Also, for example, domain. So it's going to show me all like, for example, domain users and whatnot, and things of that nature. So what is the benefit here? The benefit is that, by doing add boosts or changes, and again, this resonates on the blog, right? So reuse what you have, reuse the same process you have, in this case to tackle both SaaS, on-prem, mobile, so you extend that process to more. Reporting, this is a really powerful feature. So for example, I could take a look at, for example, my failed logins. So I love this report because it shows you, a map of the people who have failed logins across the world. So this is pretty cool. This is a demo environment, but it's going to show me, for example, the people who have failed logins and when they've done it. This is a lot of power. Finally, there's the settings. We're going to spend a lot of time on this, but it goes from all the way from customizing the portal. I actually did that really quickly, to dealing with certificates for a mobile device and Apple, mass provisioning of apps, provisioning of applications, SaaS applications, proxy servers. Another thing that I need to show you in the back end is the proxy. So the benefit of using Centrify is that it doesn't require for you to have a replica of your corporate directory out on the cloud. This is kind of more or less on demand, but the most important thing, which is the password, stays on premise, right? It's only token validation that we're doing here. And the cloud proxy is just a service, and it can be load balanced. So this is a quick view of the cloud proxy applet. Pretty much, a proxy, they should be highly available, and you can control when the policies are refreshed, auto update, what OUs are and how are they managed in terms of enrollment. And like in my particular case, I have a BYOD OUs, corporate and whatnot. And again, the idea is to leverage what you have, AD, easy to implement right away, and we're going to be covering a few apps. So I hope this tour was of your benefit.